Hey everyone, I hope that you had a very happy Thanksgiving. Allow me to begin by apologizing for not making a video in the week leading up to the Thanksgiving night game against the Saints. With the busyness surrounding the holiday, the short week, I just was unable to find the time, and that weighs on me a little bit. When I first started this channel, I was a little bit more lazy with it. I wouldn't make a video every week, kind of just did it when I felt like it. I was in college at the time, but over the past few seasons, I've been much more dedicated. I don't know if I've missed a week in like the past 3+ years. Maybe even more. So this weighs on me a little bit. Okay, I'm feeling that, and I would like to sincerely apologize. I would have picked the Bills to beat the Saints. I'm confident in saying that. I was telling all my friends, in the couple of days leading up to the Thursday night game, that the Bills are going to roll the Saints. Not just because they have a bad taste in their mouth from getting dominated by the Colts, which we're going to talk about because I haven't had a chance to reflect on that, just because I know Sean Payton, the Superdome, Thanksgiving, the allure or something like that of primetime, the Saints in primetime, but Trevor Siemian, Tony Jones, maybe the worst wide receiving core in the NFL. I know the Saints are talented on defense, but I expected the Bills to pretty much be able to do whatever they wanted. You wanted to see it on offense because that was the one concern coming out of Indy, coming out of Jacksonville, coming out of some other games, this season where it's like, hey, Pittsburgh, where's the offense? Where is it? Why do we not know what days it's going and not going to show up? I had a pretty good feeling about the Saints game. I don't know if it was just because they're on in a dome against a struggling team, kind of like a descending team, a team that's really beat up by injury. No starting tackles, like I said, no starting running backs with Ingram and Kamara. They're on Trevor Siemian of all people, who I think a lot of fans found out was still in the league after Jameis Winston was injured. Taysom Hill's only an emergency backup player, so you knew he wasn't going into the game. I mean, of course. Actually, I didn't know that going in. The Taysom Hill thing, I thought he was going to play. I actually placed like a small wager on him to score a touchdown that was refunded because he didn't play a snap. And I didn't know that. I really didn't know that he was dealing with an injury and that he just, wasn't an option for them. That kind of surprised me. Maybe that surprised a couple of fans as well, but they're going to Taysom Hill now, maybe because they have no other choice. Who knows how healthy he actually is. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. What the Saints game showed to me, it was demonstrative of a point I made a couple weeks ago leading up to the Colts game, in that the Bills are kind of front-runnery. Like, they're playing the Saints, the running game is working, Breed is running nicely, Singletary's running nicely, Diggs is getting open on Lattimore, scoring touchdowns, like providing, a Twitter highlight, that people are like, wow, look at this route by Diggs on this touchdown. Awesome. On defense, you have Edmonds back. You're playing kind of a bunch of nobodies. They only had, I don't even think they scratched 200 total yards. So, everything's working. Completions, stops, turnovers, etc. Yep, here we go. Everything's good and fun and happy-go-lucky. Bills win 31-6. What I need to see, and this dates back to his rookie year, really, when we really, everyone wants to write that off because it was a growth year, a welcome to the league type of year with not a lot of talent around him, with maybe even bad talent surrounding him, with the exception of a player or two, maybe just Deion Dawkins. I need to know that because of Josh Allen, when the Bills are down 14-0, like they were against the Colts, that they're not dead in the water. And I know that he led it back to 14-7. He led a touchdown drive, a nice throw to Diggs for the touchdown, make it 14-7. And by the time he got the ball back, it was 24-7. So he's only had the ball twice, and it's 24-7. He had an interception on the first drive, which was on him, let's be honest. And then a touchdown on the second drive, and then suddenly it's 24-7. And the Bills are scrambling to score before half. I don't know if, the fact that they're losing creates this uneasiness. They're foolish kind of with their timeouts. They take one into the half, I even believe. They attempt the 56-yard field goal when they could have used timeout sooner and tried to get further down the field. They were kind of hitting short passes they were getting decent yards after the catch on it to get down the field. But I mean, you have to score a touchdown. If there's any time to double dip, because they were getting the ball coming out of the locker room to start the second half, they had to double dip there and make it 24-21, or even a touchdown field goal just to get it within one score, get it within 24-17, just like that. Well, just like that. I made it sound so simple, but they try to kick the field goal. They try to kick the field goal in the third quarter as well. Sean McDermott says there's something to getting it to there was something in his head getting it to a 2-score game. I don't really love that mentality. I think that it's okay that, I don't even know if it's okay that you want to rely on your kicker. That's a problem. I heard this brought up on WGR the week before, or the week after the Colts game, I should say. When your kicker's good, sometimes you tend to rely on them too much. And Tyler Bass is good. I know that he missed twice. One hit the upright, and the other one I'm sure he would love to have back. One hit the upright from 56 yards. And it happens. You'd love to see him make it, obviously, but I'm not really going to fault him for that. But like I said, when your kicker is good, you tend to rely on him a little bit more because you think you can just get those points. Like, oh, well, we have this in the bag, so it's okay to not go for it here. And I don't want them to lose that aggression they had last year, that fourth down aggression. I don't want them to succumb to the feelings. Like I talked about this after the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. McDermott kicked a bunch of field goals when they were down by 2 scores, or would send them out there like on the 2-yard line to kick a field goal to make it like 21-9 or 21-12 or whatever it was at halftime. That's succumbing to how you feel rather than what you need, and I don't want them to. I don't want to see them go backwards on that. It was a different situation because they're trailing by as much as they are. These are really the only 2 situations I can really come up with when they've been down by like 10 points. The Bills are really never down, at least in the past 2 years, by like a substantial amount of points. They were to Kansas City. They ended up being down by 10 to Pittsburgh late. If they got a stop in that game, in the home opener I'm referring to, if they got a stop instead of allowing Pittsburgh to kick a field goal, they would have only been down 7. So maybe they could have. Whatever. Need to just rehash everything. They're rarely down by a lot. Okay, but when you are down by a lot, I need to know that my quarterback can bring me back. My $250 million quarterback. And it's not his fault that he was given that amount of money. The Bills put that contract in front of him. He'd be stupid not to sign it. Of course he signed it. Okay? But what the responsibility that comes with that is a 14-point lead isn't too much for you to overcome. When a team like the Colts with Jonathan Taylor is running all over you and your defense can't get a stop, you need to be like, okay, guys, it's on me. We need 30 points today, or we need 40 points today. They needed 40 against Indy. Tennessee scored 30 points. Josh scored 30 points, came down to 1 yard, but it didn't work out. That's bad luck. But again, it's another example of him not coming back. I don't want to hold that one against him too much, but I am holding Indy against him. I know that the defense couldn't come up with a stop, and that Latulele is out, and Edmonds is out. And like I said, there's maybe a ripple effect to that. Like, of course, this is tough. But when you're the $250 million quarterback, you don't get to blame a missing linebacker. You don't get to go up there to the podium and be like, yeah, it was tough today. We didn't have Tremaine in the lineup. Like, you scored 15 points at home. I need a comeback, or at least a semblance of one. I see Brady do it all the time. I see Rodgers do it all the time, and Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. And I'm comparing him to some of the league greats there. I know that. But he's being paid like one. Okay? How do I want to word this? Do I think the Bills should have re-signed Josh Allen? Yes. Yes, of course. I don't know what he's necessarily worth on the open market now as he was at the beginning of the year when the Bills originally paid him. Okay, I don't know what the difference would be. That's pure speculation. But your only variable can't be like, oh, well, someone else would have paid him. And I know, but I've seen. Okay, I know, I know, but that doesn't make it the right thing to do. You succeeded at paying top dollar for a quarterback. Okay, he got you the AFC Championship. I understand. I understand. But ultimately, I need to know that when I'm down by 2 scores, especially at home, that I can still win that game. I mean, I've said it 3 times now. So I'm going to... Am I alone here? Is anybody with me? We've protected Josh Allen like he's our own kid. I may have said this 2 weeks ago leading up to the Colts game. Anybody comes for him online, we defend him. I've done it. I'm sure you have. You jump to his defense like he's your own kid. There's nowhere to hide after that Colts game. I mean, this is your fault. This is a lesson that he just has to learn. That your kid just has to learn. Like, yeah, this is a tough one, buddy. I know that I always got your back, but like, this is on you. Anyway, feel free to tell me if I'm wrong or not. Obviously, I've gone on so long about this, and I do want to talk about New England because New England, the biggest game at home, non-playoff game, the biggest non-playoff game at home in a long time, in a very long time. I can't even think back to when it would have been. I'm honestly not sure. I'm trying to off the top of my head, and I can't do it. It's on Monday Night Football for the AFC East. This isn't some Monday night game where the league is like, here you go, Bills. Here's your Monday Night Football game. Good for you guys. We'll see you on prime time for the only time this season. No, the Bills are good. The Patriots are good again. This game will have a lot of viewers. It will have a lot of third-party perspective. People who just casually watch the league will be watching it. And I think it's super important that the Bills win the game. Super important that the Bills win the game. I'm going to talk you through it a little bit, but let me tell you why I think it's important. You don't want to be Chad Pennington. That's my point. Chad Pennington is the only quarterback that won the division in the Brady-Belichick era there. He did it once with the Jets. He did it once with the Dolphins. You can't be Chad Pennington. You can't let the Patriots just have one down year, and here they come roaring back. This has to be a rivalry. I'm okay if you lose to them periodically here and there, but you can't let them roll through you. You can't let them roll through the division. Okay? You only get 2 shots at them every year, obviously. You can't control what they do 15 times a year. You can control what they do twice. You know? So you have to make those games matter. You know, you control what you do, obviously. So you can keep yourselves in the thick of it. I don't think the Patriots are like a 15-2 type of team every year, but there's certainly going to be talk about it, especially if they beat the Bills on Monday night. There's going to be talk about how, can the Patriots run through the rest of their schedule? Let's take a look at it. They have the bye week after that. Then it's at Indy, tough game. Then the Bills at home. They'll be like, well, they just beat them. Jacksonville at Miami. The Patriots back in the Super Bowl. Ta-da! Belichick, the Patriot way. It's back. No. Cut this off. This needs to stop right here. I can't take it anymore. And then the last thing, just a perfect example of this the Patriot way, Mac Jones, trademarking his name. MJ10? Are you kidding me? Like, we all know TB12, obviously. That's what I'm referring to. TB12, MJ10. Are you kidding me? No. No. If anybody watched WWE over the past 8 years, no. This can't happen. Okay? You have to cut New England off, and you have to cut them off right now. Let them know, hey, last year wasn't some fluke. We're going to be around a while, guys. These are going to be tough games, week in and week out with us. You know, we're going to be battling head-to-head for this division every year. It's not some cakewalk for you guys. Okay? I mean, it's of the utmost importance. The Patriots did a nice job rebuilding their team this year. They are getting contributions from huge free agents like Matt Judon, maybe the best free agent signing of the entire offseason. The guy's a monster, and he's going to be a problem for the Bills. Definitely going to be a problem. No doubt about it. But then they signed guys like Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Hunter Henry leads them in receiving touchdowns. Jonnu Smith doesn't really play that much anymore, but you know they're getting contributions from Kendrick Bourne. 623 yards is their leading receiver. And Nelson Aguilar has 3 touchdowns, 32 catches, 400 yards. Jacoby Myers, who is, you know, a decent player. Is he as good as Stephon Diggs? Like, no shot. Is he as good as Cole Beasley? I don't know. I don't know. But he's not in the upper echelon of receivers. You have a more talented team. Don't let them push this Patriot way stuff on you. I keep harping on that. And you know why? It's because everyone just acts like it's just like everything's so calculated. Like everything's a chess move for Belichick. Like, he planned this. Like, oh, he planned paying Jonnu Smith however many $1 million per year, $10 million per year, to be a second tight end and be average. It's just, they just fit whatever's convenient there. Oh, look at this Hunter Henry signing. Look at this Kendrick Bourne signing. Belichick at it again. Yada, yada, yada. I'm not here for it. I am just not here for it. I'll give him credit for Matt Judon, sure. They're a talented team, okay? I mean, they've won 6 games in a row. They're 2-4. They were 2-4, and they've won 6 games in a row. They beat the Jets. They beat the Chargers, which I think is a decent win on the road. They beat Sam Darnold and the Panthers, who were reeling hard. They beat the Browns, who are reeling hard. They beat Atlanta, who's reeling hard. They beat Tennessee, who's injury-ridden and reeling kind of hard with those injuries. Like, it's New England got to play Tennessee without Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. The Bills had to play all 3. Julio Jones ended up leaving the game, but Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown dominated that game. I don't know if they make a 23-point difference, a 36-13 difference up, but maybe. Maybe. I mean, you can go back to my point about Josh Allen and make it about Ryan Tannehill, but those are 2 huge parts of what they do on offense. Josh just wasn't missing anything on offense. He just was inept against the Colts. Anyway, the Patriots over the last 4 weeks especially, 130-26 is the score. 130-26. That's 32-6. An average score of 32-6. Their defense has been fantastic. I have their defense in fantasy football. They haven't got me less than 13 points or 14 points in all across this winning streak, maybe. And they've won. They started 1-3. They're 7-1 in their last 8 games. They only lost in overtime to Dallas. They have forced at least 1 turnover in all of their last 8 games, at least 2 in 6 of their last 8 games. The defense is clicking again. J.C. Jackson getting interceptions, left and right it seems. I don't know when did that start? He's been in the league 4 years? I think he leads the league in interceptions in that time, and I always knew he got a lot of interceptions. When did he turn into this elite player? To me, I still see Diggs chunking up the deuce to him on Monday Night Football last year. Diggs owned him last year. Maybe he can do it again. I just don't expect it to be that easy of a time. Dante Hightower wasn't there. Matt Judon wasn't there. And maybe they were checked out. Cam Newton was the quarterback, not Mac Jones. By the way, the Mac, I just needed to point this out if you don't know this. His name's Mike. His name is Mike Jones. Who? Mike Jones. His middle name is McCorkle. Michael McCorkle Jones. And that's where Mac comes from. Mac Jones. There, you learn something new every day. That's unbelievable. Anyway, he just won AFC Offensive Rookie of the Month. J.C. Jackson, I guess I should say, just won AFC Defensive Player of the Month. Mac Jones just won AFC Offensive Rookie of the Month. It's been fantastic. I think he's completed 77% of his passes over the last 4 weeks or so. Just 2 interceptions to go along with 7 touchdowns. He's just completing. He's not throwing for a ton of yards. He threw for 310 against Tennessee, but 207, 198, 139, 217, 307 against the Jets. The Patriots just have this nice 2-headed attack at running back with Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, and they do a great job with the play action, holding the linebackers and then throwing to Jacoby Myers over the linebackers, throwing to Myers and Henry, and Aguilar's a bit more of a deep threat. So is Kendrick Bourne, but Kendrick Bourne's developing his route tree a little bit. He's been better. So this is the biggest test for the Patriots, especially on the road, maybe all season. The Chargers were a decent test. This might be their biggest test on the road all season. They're 5-0 on the road, so something's got to give. But honestly, I'm going to pick the Patriots. I think this is the first time all season I've been picking the Bills to lose. I'm going to pick the Patriots. I want to see it. I just want to see it. Prove to me that New England is not back. Patriots 17-16, a close one on Monday Night Football. Guys, enjoy the game. I will see you there. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Monday night. And as always, above all else, go Bills.